Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our special show Perspective, where we bring you a 360-degree holistic view of all key issues, both national and international. And today we're going to talk about the Jal Jeevan Mission. Now, the Jal Jeevan Mission was launched on 15th of August 2019 to provide clean tap water to every household by 2024. At the time of launch of this mission, only 17%, that is 3.23 crore rural households, had tap water supply. And despite COVID-19 pandemic, in the last 2 years, more than 5 crore households have been provided with tap water connections. And as of today, approximately 8.26 crore, that is 43% of the total rural households in the country, have tap water supply in their homes. Prime Minister on Saturday launched the Jal Jeevan Mission App for improving awareness among stakeholders for greater transparency and accountability of schemes under the mission. He also launched Rashtriya Jal Jeevan Kosh, where any individual, institution, corporation or philanthropist, be it in India or abroad, can contribute to help provide tap water connections to every rural household, school, Anganwadi center, and other public institutions as well. Addressing the Gram Panchayat and Pani Samiti members, the Prime Minister said the vision of Jal Jeevan Mission is not just to make water accessible to the people, but also it is a big movement of decentralization. Now, in this show, we will discuss and analyze all aspects of Jal Jeevan Mission and the road ahead for realizing the goal of providing clean tap water for all by 2024. And to understand this in a much clearer manner, we have with us a distinguished panel of 3 experts. Let me first introduce them to you. Beginning with, we have with us Urmi Goswami. She is assistant editor with Economic Times. She's been covering this and related aspects for quite some time. We're also joined by Dr. Shamal Kumar Sarkar. He's Senior Director, Natural Resources and Climate with TERI, and he's also the former Secretary with the Ministry of Water Resources in the Government of India. And we're joined by Mr. Avinash Mishra as well, Advisor, Water and Land with Niti Aayog. Welcome, all of you, to Sansad TV. Let me begin with you, Mr. Mishra, and let's first start by understanding all about Jal Jeevan Mission. What is the motive here? And where do we stand? There are some figures which I mentioned, and that seems quite a lot of progress. But in terms of implementation, in terms of targets, how are we moving ahead?
Yeah, actually, Mr. Dahiya, before really coming into the session, and to really say about the Jal Jeevan Mission, I would just like to say you what we were doing all through so many years. I remember because I was an advisor in the Planning Commission and thereafter continued in the Niti Aayog. At the time of Planning Commission, while we were framing the 12th plan document, at that time, we were really getting a big shame in terms of the half of the population in the world was going for open defecation in India. Mm-hmm. And that was, if we can say, we can boast that we are moving on the path of developed country, we are developing, but we are going for an open defecation. Similarly, in case of water resources, it was something like that the coverage was 92%, 93%, 94%, but it never touched 100%. The reasons might be the sustainability of the sources. The groundwater was depleting. Day by day, we worked to lower the hand pumps, and this was a major reason that we could not provide the water to all across the population in the rural area. But on 2019, that took 15th August 2019, by the time, as you said, the pipe water connection was 17%. Why? Actually, we have not moved to pipe water connection, but we have also moved that the water supplied will not be limited to 40 liter per capita per day, but it will be 55 liter per capita per day. Mm-hmm. So this is one, upgrading the allocation of water, and then the functional house tap connection. The meaning for functional house tap connection means one tap connection will be provided to each individual. The women folk, the children need not to really run pillar to post to fetch the water. And I'll tell you, the drudgery is so that the women need to travel and they need to really put up around 2 to 3 hours for getting the water.
Okay.
So that was a real draggery, what they were actually facing. So with this Jal Jeevan mission, we are just thinking to provide the functional house tap connection to remaining all 19 point something crore houses in the country. And today we have come to a mark where we have achieved around 8 point something crore household tap connection, which is something close to 43%.
Okay.
So this is what the progress we achieved. In case of open defecation, you already know that we have already constructed the toilets all across the country, and every household has got the toilet facility.
Indeed.
But to sustenance of the toilet will depend if the tap or the water connection is there.
Indeed, that'll be a big challenge out there, Mr. Mishra. But those numbers which you're pointing out, that seems quite a lot of work has been done in the past 2 weeks. Let me bring in Dr. Sarkar here as well. Dr. Sarkar, we need to understand this in much clearer way. And one aspect to do so is to understand how big is the challenge here, given the fact that water is a very important, but at the same time, a scarce commodity.
You see, the government's program of Jal Jeevan Mission is part of the greater objective. It is the objective is to meet the target of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Sustainable Development Goals 2030, but the government of India has started meeting the target by 2024. That is the target of the Jal Jeevan Mission, to give connection and water available to every household in the rural area. As you know that yesterday, the Prime Minister also announced the water security to all urban households. But the challenges in the rural water supply is quite big. It's tremendous, because the water has to be made available not only through pipe, but also it should be sustainable. The source should be sustainable. The quality of water should be of great help for the maintenance of the water sustainability, and involvement of the Pani Panchayat. The Panchayat, Gram Panchayat is very essential. And that is the thing which Prime Minister is also emphasizing, and the special Gram Sabha are being organized today all over India.
Okay.
The main one of the issue this government they are facing is that the Gram Sabha has to be activated in a big way, in the sense that the Gram Sabha will be responsible, because the water department in the state cannot go to every village. Only Gram Sabha can go, and this involvement is very essential.
Indeed.
Secondly, the quality of water. Water is not to be accessible, but the quality should be of higher standard. And that's why the Gram Panchayat's responsibility is very big. Thirdly, the utilities of water access is to be such that it is sustainable. That means although water is free, but maintenance of the pipe, maintenance of the tap, this all needs a kind of investment.
Okay.
So how the investment could come? Can it come only from government? The answer is no. The answer is that the sustainability through the initiative of the Gram Panchayat is very essential.
Okay. Indeed, that is a very, very important and significant point there. Involvement of Gram Panchayats, Pani Samitis there, as Dr. Sarkar is pointing out. I'd like to bring you in here, Urmi. And on that point specifically, it's not only just about providing tap water, but it's about providing clean tap water is one aspect. Second is the involvement of people at the ground level. It can't be done without their involvement, and therein comes the role being played by Gram Panchayats, the Pani Samitis. So how significant do you think their role is, one, and two, how does it help? As Dr. Sarkar was also pointing out, it's a very key element.
Well, the most important role that the Pani Samiti can play, which is basically people from that area. They want the rules are such that women have to play at least a 50% role in it. What does that mean? That key stakeholders from the area are involved in the maintenance, in conservation, in planning. No system can work if those who use it are not involved, do not feel there is a stake in its maintenance. Somebody from the outside comes and says, I set up this system, I will run it. Their involvement in running it or their care in running it at optimum is very limited. So that's why the Pani Samiti becomes important. Not only is there a sense of this resource and its proper maintenance belongs to us, but it's also a question of efficiency. So if there is a problem with, say, the water supply or the water quality, then it is something that is being dealt with at this local level. If you remember that one of the aspects is about training women to periodically test water. You know, a group of 5 or 6 women who will be trained to be testers to see the water quality is good. Now imagine if you had to get that person to come from the district. You know, you don't know when they'll come, but this is somebody local. If there is a local problem, you can address it. That's why the Pani Samitis become very important.
Okay.
Because as you said, or as we all know, water is a critical element. If there is wastage, you know, if it's a local issue, why the wastage is happening, it can be dealt with locally. We don't have to wait to, you know, you go to the block level, then go to the district level, and then there's a wait forever and water keeps getting wasted. You know, we need to remember that this entire conversation is happening at a moment when water stress is a critical factor, not only in India, where it is. The Niti Aayog has a report which talks about how many districts are facing water stress and will face. We're talking about a changing climate where we see water being an issue, also
Indeed.
wastage becoming an issue. So that is why the Pani Samiti is important. There's a sense of responsibility, the sense of stakeholder, you know, of being responsible. So it works both ways. That if you feel that you have a stake in running the system well, and you're also held to account if the system is not running well.
Okay, so there it is, you know, a very significant point. You also elaborated on that, you know, Urmi, in terms of Pani Samitis, the role of the community there. Mr. Mishra, I'd like to bring you in here. 3.5 lakh approximately, you know, Pani Samitis there at village level. Almost 7 lakh women being part of that. This makes it a community managed program, a decentralized program, something which also ensures the success, as both Dr. Sarkar and Urmi were also referring to, in terms of making people accountable and involved as well.
Yeah, certainly. As I indicated you even in the beginning of my the show, that the sustainability was a big question mark, and all through 70 years we could not provide the water to 100% habitations because of the reasons of the lack of sustainability. So sustainability, the proper management, all this is very much required if we are able to generate the people, those who themselves are beneficiaries. So the beneficiaries' involvement is very essential, whether it is in the form of village water and sanitation committees or through Gram Panchayat. And even in the 15th Finance Commission, we have provided 1.42 lakh crore. This is quite a substantial amount for the creation and maintenance of, that is for sustenance and maintenance of the drinking water supply schemes and the water related schemes.
Okay.
This will be a hand-holding thing. And after that, because you see, it is not only the providing the water to the houses, it is also sparing the time, sparing the people for work. They can get engaged for other works.
Okay.
Even today, in the Honorable Prime Minister's talk to the people, it has come up, the people in Uttarakhand, those who are actually, they losing what the Honorable Prime Minister was saying, it is just saying in Uttarakhand that they are losing the water as well as youth, both in the hills. So both will come back. The water will also be returned and youth will stay, and they are getting engaged in tourism, stay homes. Even in the remote place of Tamil Nadu, the women are engaged in preparing the silk garments and all these things. So these savings will definitely spin in the form of the GDP and the growth and the development of each individual.
Okay.
So that really makes a lot of difference.
Okay.
And also, as far as the quality of the water is concerned, there are the testing kits which has been provided. Not only the testing kits, even the women have been trained. So they will periodically test the water quality. They will manage. The surveillance will be there. All across the country, we have got 2,200 labs. And now I think I will not be shocked to see, if I used to stay in Singapore, in the five-star hotel, when I ask the drinking water, they say, okay, your tap water is the drinking water. The same is now happening even in India. The Puri water is the same, which is the drinking water.
That's what the target and that's what the goal there is, which you're pointing out, Mr. Mishra. And in fact, ensuring that it is community managed, involvement of the people at the grassroots level makes it more possible to achieve there. But let's, look at the road ahead also. Dr. Sarkar, if I'd like to bring you in here, you've already elaborated upon the issue of ensuring the quality of water, ensuring the involvement of the community, making it more sustainable. Apart from that, what are the challenges which you see from here onwards in achieving this target of water for all, in fact, clean tap water for all by 2024?
You see, the sustainability of water or the availability of water at the village level is an issue. The issue is that it's not only connection, it is the supply of water 24/7. That's the thing, and the quality water is a safe water. Now, as you know, in the water sector, the water conservation is a very important issue. Water conservation also says that we have to recycle the water. After using the water, we have to recycle the grey water and the black water.
Okay.
Black water means those who are from the toilet is coming out, and the grey water is from the kitchen, etc., is coming out. But those water has to be recycled, and that is only possible at the decentralized level. And the decentralized level possibility demands that the Pani Samiti, the Panchayat Samiti, the Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, they involve themselves. As you know that the water is coming from available at the village, the water is coming from two sources. One is the surface water, like lakes, like rivers, etc., or ponds. Another like groundwater. But today the groundwater sources are much more in the type of application of the water access.
Okay.
Now, conserving the water, conserving the groundwater is also an important thing. Conserving the river water, surface water is also an important thing. So here, the Pani Panchayat's role is fantastic. Their role is the supreme role. It is not the role of the government to allow to make it happen without involving the Pani Panchayat.
Okay.
So the Pani Panchayat's role is tremendous, and the objective of this universal access of water, safe access, safe water, is a very important point to be remembered by all of us.
Okay, okay. That's a very significant point. And Urmi, I'd like to bring you in here. It's just not about ensuring that there is a tap connection and, the community is involved as well. But as both, here we have our guests pointing out clearly that it is also important that water conservation is taken note of. And now that we're talking about Jal Jeevan Mission, it obviously deals with the rural areas, but I believe that's an issue in the urban areas as well.
Of course, it's an issue in the urban areas as well. And actually, it's interesting. When this program was launched in 2019, the focus, and even now when we talk about it, the focus is on the tap water, because obviously, look at the numbers, you reel them off right in the beginning. It's a stark number, you know, only 17% had access. It's terrible. Now it's improved, but it's still a stark number. But the question now is that how do you keep it running? Is it enough for you to have a tap at home? No, you need to have water. What does that mean? You need to conserve water. You need to use it judiciously. You need to treat it better. So when you talk about urban areas, I mean, this year alone has shown us how water is wasted, you know. And it's not the water that comes into our taps. Of course, that is wasted as well. But it's how we are unable to recharge our groundwater, how we allow it to flood our streets. And it's true in urban areas. If you look at the news today, you will see in Bengal, there are parts of rural Bengal that are underwater. I mean, you don't know if it's the sea or it used to be a paddy field, but it's all water. Where does that water go? We need to get into that part of the planning as well. And I think what makes the Jal Jeevan Mission so interesting is that whereas it looks at the iconic tap as the center of it, the visual center of it, it is actually just that. It is the beginning of the conversation. You're talking about conserving, you're talking about not wasting. If you remember, today, the Prime Minister's interaction, there were a couple of things he highlighted. One was on wastage. The second thing is that he linked it up with the previous, the toilet mission.
Indeed.
You know, and the fact of the matter is that each thing is connected. You know, Dr. Mishra mentioned about livelihoods, about how women are spared, you know, time is not wasted. So it's not just wastage of water, but wastage of time. So yes, this is happening in the rural areas. It's a center. The tap is the center, but there are 10 other things. But the urban areas, as you mentioned, have to learn. We too need to learn about how not to be contributors to the waste. Because urban areas are built up, we need to think about it in much more interesting ways. The good news for us that we have technically, you know, local government bodies that are existing. So what we need to do is to ensure that they do their job, and they're empowered to do their job, which would mean either ensuring that water drainage happens properly. And that excuse that people give, oh, this year the rains were too much, that's a good enough excuse, but it's not really. Indeed. The fact of the matter is that even when it rained within normal sort of limits, we still had the same problem. So yes, water wastage, and you know, like air, groundwater recharge in one area actually benefits other areas. So there is no excuse. If we want Jal Jeevan Mission to work, the urban areas too need to do their bit.
Indeed, they will have to. And as you're pointing out, you know, there is no excuse when you're talking about water wastage. And all this is closely interrelated, and this is the beginning. That's the right way to put it. One quick question, concluding one from you, Dr. Mishra, before we bring this to an end, since you're closely involved with the program, in terms of the challenges in reaching that target by 2024, how do you see, what is it that we need to tackle from here onwards?
Yeah, actually, the people's participation, the state's own contribution, and the thing is the sustainability, as it has been rightly said by the other two, the panelists, that is to be brought into the center stage. As we know all, and we are also working, various other schemes have been initiated by the government, including the micro irrigation, where to minimize the use of water in agriculture sector and to withdraw the water from there and put for the drinking water and all other, to bring the sustainability over here. Atal Bhujal Yojana, wherein in the 7 states, we are thinking how to recharge the groundwater, and the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, and the catch the rain where it falls. All these actually the programs and the schemes, those are making the people aware, and we are also providing the ample funds to the panchayat to undertake these works and the movement of people, which is very much essential. And we are very sure we have come very close to half the mark in achieving the piped water supply by 2024. We will be there.
Indeed.
We will reach to the destination, and it will be sustainable also this time, because it has been built comprehensively. It is not being built in isolation.
Indeed.
So
indeed, all these programs are working in tandem with each other. Thank you so much, Dr. Mishra, Dr. Sarkar, and Urmi, therefore sharing your views and inputs. As our panelists were pointing out, it is pretty much clear that the Jal Jeevan Mission, which has a target of ensuring clean tap water supply to every rural household by 2024, is a very key program, and there are good achievements in place as well in the past 2 years. But there are a lot of areas where work needs to be done, and ensuring that public participation, which has been initiated with the inclusion of Pani Samitis and Gram Panchayats playing a very important role, is continued. Also, water conservation, ensuring that there is no wastage of water. These all will remain the key elements of putting in place a robust system where every household gets a clean water supply from the tap. We'll come back again on Monday with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.